What is going on, crypto enthusiasts? Good morning, Liquidity Citadel. Good morning, good people. I'm hoping you all are doing well. Welcome to day 2 of our 1K to 10K challenge. I'm your boy, Crypto Saint. We're going to be trading and looking at a litany of different coins, predominantly looking at ETH and BTC, but we do also have some other coins that are out there. Welcome. I'm so glad that you guys are here. As you guys know, if there's any questions that you have in regards to the setups, please feel free to put them inside of the chat section. We like to incorporate high levels of education while we're doing these streams and also making it profitable for everybody. That being said, I want to dive right into the charts and let's go into ETH, kind of what we're looking at. What I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at an ABC right now. I believe B finished right around like 1837. I'm looking at this on a 1 hour, and I have a target that I'd like to see tapped into, and possibly even lower if we get a zigzag. You know, if we get into flat levels, we're going to get into these 1719 areas. And if we can get a zigzag, then we're coming right back down to these 1640 levels and possibly even lower. There's a good amount of liquidity that sits right over here inside this realm. 1586 still hasn't been tapped into just yet. And if that is the case, if we can get to 1586, then I'm going to constitute the entire move up that we had as a wave 1 and this entire retracement down as far as the zigzag for an ABC to be a wave 2. That kind of fits a little bit more in line with how ETH behaves. So not really looking at any longs here in this area. I think it's more optimal for shorts going into the remainder of the week for ETH. So that's my play. That's my current setup right now. That's what I'm viewing. We are looking at a couple other different coins. If you were inside the VIP section, there was an A+ setup for Q that actually got scanned like at 4:30 in the morning. I just so happened to be knocked out at that time, but I did post, you know, when that TP was hit, I'm going to be looking for some shorts. So we did activate and trigger some shorts at that level for Q. Going back to some of the coins from yesterday, Clo performed well, but I did close it out. And I'm so glad that I did because we had a pretty healthy retracement on it. I'm viewing this for Clo as maybe a wave 2, and then maybe we get a wave 3 out of that. Beat is another one as well. Beat went the mile extra distance in the sense of retracements, but I'm looking at Beat as a large ABC, went into a zigzag, and then we have a subwave that's inside of that wave C. So looking at this endpoint right over here being a wave 5 and a completion for wave C, we also have a total pattern that's printing here inside this PRZ. Could it stretch down a little bit lower today? Yeah, it very well could. You know, Beat is down roughly over 30% on the day. And so 2.2899 is still on the table as far as retracement. And if it really wants to get, you know, real gangbusters on us, it can go all the way down to 0.8972, which is pretty aggressive. Good morning, boy. What's going on, brother? Welcome. So glad that you're here. And so now at this point, you know, me kind of explaining some of that stuff, it's just me managing. Remember we were talking about yesterday for USDT, we were talking about USDT, you know, printing a 7 here and then possibly having an 8 and a 9 that pushes higher. That's kind of what I'm looking at for USDT. You know, USDT's on an 8 right now, but if it pushes into like these upper levels of like 8.821 and possibly even testing this area of 8.9, then I'm looking at that as a wave B. That's going to push ETH down to its extension as far as wave C, or at least completion of wave 2, just depending on how you're looking at that. And then excuse me, and then the longs are going to be real juicy for ETH. So USDT is kind of performing the way that we're looking at things. This is where that fib was measured from yesterday. So let's see how the remainder of the day goes for USDT. This is measured on a daily if you want to take a look at it on your own accord. We did get the targets for the long yesterday for the pre-analysis on the market. We did get to that 1756 benchmark, and then we did hit our first initial TP. So if you did so happen to catch that long and then, you know, take profits at those areas, congratulations to you. And thank you for following along, following the plan ultimately. But I don't think that was going to be, one of those longs that was going to take us to like, 19 or something like that. I think we got to come back down, clear some imbalances that we have to the downside first, and then we can start really looking into it. Like 1602, I think that area is going to be a high level for liquidity. And I believe that's going to push us into that 1586, 1555 area. Then once we get into those zones, I think we can start talking about local bottoms, getting a short-term relief, and then getting into those higher levels, 2400s, 2500s, what have you. And then comes July, then it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking in July, in my opinion. So I'm not sure if any of you guys had the opportunity to take some of these calls yesterday and if you were profitable, but if you missed it, have no fear, don't fret. This is exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to look at live setups. And if you want to get into some of these positions in advance, kind of like what I'm doing or what some of the guys inside of the VIP or Citadel Pro are doing inside of our server, I highly recommend to look into joining our server and joining the VIP section. What's up, Sniper? Good morning, brother. Salute you. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. I'm really enjoying the scanner as far as what it's providing. I mean, it makes the runs so much easier and so much faster. Mind you, there's a little bit more managing that's involved in it. I mean, trying to catch a falling knife, if you will, like on beat this morning was a little tricky, and same thing for Q, just trying to wait for Q to develop to catch that move as well too. But nevertheless, we caught him. Now we just need them to perform. I've already stripped a good portion of beat out, like right when I had this wick of 3.189. I can see that we have very thin liquidity that sits inside that area, but it did create a balance with that wick, so there's liquidity that's there. So for me, I've already stripped more than half of it. So if I come back to to entry, or if I come down a little bit lower, then I'm just going to be looking for that new ad on beat. I think there's going to be some relief. Ultimately what I'm looking for on beat right now is I'm looking for that wave 1. I got a wave C potential completion. I got a wave 5 potential completion. I got a price reversal zone for the total harmonic pattern that you see developing. So I'm looking for that initial oomph, right? And so once I get that initial oomph, then I'll look for the wave 2, wherever that wave 2 lands. And if it so happens to stick, then there's going to be heavier ads inside those zones. So in the meantime, while that's all developing, I say that to say this is you got to treat them like scalps, because the structure of it is still not fully complete. There's a long way to go for beat before that can be developed. I think one of the main targets that I would love to see for beat is retesting that 6.8. Retesting the 6.8, then having another retracement back down. But I don't believe that would be a wave 1. That's most likely going to be like a wave 5. Right? Once we get that wave 1, we'll get a 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go to 5. We'll probably break out of this channel here, right? Give false hope, and then we'll get into the zone. Like these moves get bigger getting into like June 20th from a fib zone perspective. So lots of work that beat would have to do. Glow looks decent, hit that target. Then you got a bearish engulfing that's developing here. I don't know why it's not printing the it's on a 55. Okay, so new 55 just began. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. So new 55 candle just began on Q. Clo looks decent. I think Clo could have, Clo's pretty good in my opinion. I think it has a little bit more potential to stretch a little bit higher. So that's why I'm constituting this as a wave 2, and I'm looking at a potential wave 3. I'll measure out where wave 3 will land for us once we have the opportunity for it. And then there goes Beat. Beat has some exhaustion candles. It's a relatively bullish candle. This candle right over here on a 1 hour. But I'll open up the charts a little bit more so it's a little bit easier to see for you guys. What's up, Stefano? Good morning, brother. Oh, W Orange Cat. Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, that's my old man. It's my old man. 17, bro. 17. So un viejito. So I'm curious, are you guys are you guys trading multiple coins with me? Are you guys just sticking to one pair? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know where you're at. I want to pick your brain. So what I was saying earlier is like I'm constituting all of this, that being a wave 1, right? And then the retracement down to these levels would be wave 2. So let's throw a measurement on that real quick. Let's just see if we get any confluence with those previous levels I was looking at. Let's go from here to here. Let's flip that over. And let's turn that green so that way we can just see, we know what we're looking at. Yep. 88% is 1545. So yeah, it's between here and here. I think those are going to be the optimal areas where to look for like swing longs. Yeah, so that lines up. I'll fully map that out before the day's over. I'll fully map that out before the day's over. So this is another reason why I feel like the shorts will kind of play out, because even if I get into you know, these are flat levels, you know, maybe we come here, we come back over here again, what have you, but zigzag levels get over here, 0.382 inside that zone, relatively weak. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and what is this year for that? You're not my bar pattern. Okay, I can just remove you for now. Okay. So we'll do this fresh. Actually, I won't wait till the later part of the day. We'll just do this right now. And we'll go with the wave 2. Let's put that back on. And we're going to go with green because we're looking for support. And we need to take off these weaker fibs. I'll leave 618 just for reference. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take off 618 because, you know, 1634, you know, we've already been there, right? So the objective is to collect liquidity. So there's already orders that are sitting there. Price will be attracted to the liquidation areas. I'm going to take this tool off real quick just so we have a little bit more visibility. And I got the dynamic right here. What we'll do is we'll just draw out a nice little hot pocket for it. This hot pocket might change over time, depending if people start exiting. But we'll mark this off as our hot pocket zone. Hot pocket. All right, and then let's take the dynamic off real quick. That needs to be brighter. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. That works for me. Okay, so we got that. Let's scooch this over just a smidge. We'll run it like this so we can get a decent lines for zigzag. And we're going to clean up some of this noise as well too. We no longer need these because we're now focused on the wave B. We went to a 707 just as an FYI. So now we have all flat zones. We'll leave the flats there. Let's just go ahead. Let's make sure that we're marking everything correctly. Mind you, this is on an hour. Let's stretch over to a 4 hour. Yeah, give us a little bit better, more screen real estate we can play with on that. What is this? I don't need that anymore. Looks decent. I mean, there's two ways I could really measure the fib zones on this. But I'm going to go from pivot to pivot. This will allow us to kind of stretch some of this out a little bit. So if I can get a sharp retracement, I can get inside here. Let's bring this over. Okay, let's keep that like that. I want to see if I can get somewhere over here by the 24th. Because remember on the monthly, if you recall on the monthly, remember we're still printing an 8 here. So I can get a 9 that comes, you know, or even if the 8 comes here, but maybe the 9 opens up somewhere right around here and then pushes up. That 8 is deeper than the 6 and 7. So we are running into where that trend is done, essentially. We're running into those zones. So with that known and that said, let's mark out towards the 24th. We're going to go ahead and put it here like that. And we'll just stretch this over just so in case it falls under any one of these zones, inside one of these zones. Like if it fell inside of this zones, I doubt it would, but just in case. We'll move this over as well too. So we'll highlight that. And let's stretch this over. There you go. Okay, let's go ahead and increase that so it's a little bit more visible for everybody. That works. Let's thicken up that line a little bit too. There we go. That works. So the smaller ones, you can see that these are like more like subwaves. We're looking for a bigger wave here. All right, now let's see what 3 is going to look like. We're going to paint that red. We're going to thicken that up. We're going to get the labels a nice 20 as well too. And let's reduce our chart so we can see where we're at. So I would go with bigger swings somewhere around here. Let's put this on the other side. Yeah. And my fib zone could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't mistake it. Like my fib zone could be wrong. I'm just going from pivot to pivot. That's all I'm really doing. Okay, that makes sense for buy side liquidity to sit there. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then what, a 5 over here? Damn, that puts me in August. Sheesh. Where does this put me? That's July 21st, man. That's gonna take a long time. So we got a lot of compression going on over here. Yeah, we got a lot of compression that's gonna occur here. If we bounce off of these flat zones and let's say that we go up higher, then wave 1 just wasn't done, so we would have to remeasure. That's why I'm leaving these fib zones visible here, because in case we do go flat and then it pushes up again like that, somebody would maybe constitute that as a wave 1. We went higher and then retrace, and then they'll try to long like a 76, 88 in that area, and then it'll flush. All that it's going to tell us is that wave 1 just wasn't done. So this blue fib is basically a subwave inside. And I can get another pan, right? So this is a bump and run. This is your pan, or more of your frying pan, right? You get like this little swoop that comes underneath here. That's a bad example. Let me do it this way. I'll open it up for us. Right, and then you see how it does that? We can get another one of those, meaning price can come down to one of these levels and do that again. So you can still be inside the bump and run reversal pattern and then get another swoop like that. Shoot, if anything, it might even be a setup for an Adam and Eve. You know, you get your small little V right there. Then as we come down, we'll get one of these, and then it'll start swooping. So then you'll have even more confirmation. You'll have an Adam and Eve setup right there, which is a reversal pattern. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We don't know if that's going to occur. We don't know how that's going to look. I'm just outlining what some of those probabilities could look like. I'll check it in the chat real quick. Sideline for now. Missed yesterday's stream due to work. Oh, damn. Sorry, brother. I'm glad you got work, though. Sideline, boy, you sideline. You're bearish for this month. Okay, I got you. You hit your goal for your goal yesterday. That's what's up. That's good. I hope you journaled it so you know exactly where your thought process was and where you were mentally. You know, what triggered you to close it? I hit my goal as well. I actually surpassed my goal yesterday, and I think it was a little bit after Asia had started, and I was just like, you know what? Close all. And I'm so glad that I did, because I would have round tripped on some of these moves, missed out on some gains. So sometimes these things are divine and they work out. Now look for opportunities. I'm looking at $2 zone for beat. We got a 4-hour reversal, shave bottom, liquidity sweep on 2-hour trend. Okay. Okay. I hear you. I respect it. Let's check on beat real quick. Okay. All right, so let's go back. Let's get back into this. Now we want to see what a 5 will look like. Let's go ahead and label these so we make sure we have this correct. I don't know where 4 is going to go, but I need to do a 4 and I need to do a 5. This is assuming this is where, you know what? Let's just come down to this area. Let's get into this hot pocket and let's call this for 2. This is subject to be changed. And let's say this is my 3. Let's flip this over. Let's take this noise off. We don't need this garbage. And let's thicken that up as well too. And we're gonna go with, let's go with a flat level first. Right, I would like to see that because that would relatively flip that area. 1821. Actually, I like the 1821 as well too. So let's flip that around. Let's go here, that color, and let's go here. I like that a little bit more. Maybe a 618. No. I'm gonna go flat for wave 4 because you know, if this is my 1, I want to see that I can relatively hold this area right above my wave 1 because it's crypto. Crypto can bleed just slightly underneath, so maybe get a nice little liquidity sweep into this area, and then we'll move into a 5. So let's scooch this over. And then let's look for a 5. And so that's going to be the tricky part. So I got ABC here. I don't know where this ABC is going to occur. So then I'll just use a basic wave 5. So there's confluence there. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that whole measurement there. We're going to take the 2.618 off for right now and just see kind of what that looks like. Then an ABC and then start a new count after that. Yeah, because then that gets us back to the zone. That makes a little bit more sense to me. So let's take this off. I like that more. Let's go with a different color for this guy. Let's go with, yeah, that works. There, and then let's throw this on. Let's see what this looks like. That would be ideal. Sharp. I'm gonna go here. Yeah, I'm gonna go here. See, the problem with that is that this looks too big. It doesn't mean that it won't be valid. It just, initially when I'm drawing this out, it looks a little bit too big. So maybe that 1.27 does come back into the picture. I'll know more. Yeah, let's put the 1.27 back on. Yeah. That could all change if wave 3 decides to go to a 2.618, then, you know, all this changes in that regard. But we're looking at, you know, considering this could be bearish. So let's go like that. Yeah, I have a feeling you're going to go there. Do I have any patterns that play out with that? So that gets me to 2200. And then maybe from there you get an A, B, and then get a C. And you get a C here. And then you get an impulse, and you get a 2, and then you get another 3, and you get a 4, and then we'll finally break. That's probably what it's going to look like. So this will be TBD. Because remember, we still have the 2.618 that sits right over here. Right, so if wave 3 decides to extend, then we need to adjust 4, and then we will need to adjust 5. This would be the first target that we would need to look at and saying, okay. Because you can see that we do have buy-side liquidity that sits right here inside this area. Obviously, this is retesting, you know, previous highs. This is a strong resistance area. There's stronger resistance here than there is here. So therefore, there's going to be more liquidity that sits here. That's why I'm putting this on the table saying there's a chance that wave 3 goes there instead. And then we'll measure everything out from there. But let's just look at it like that for right now. And I want to see if I can find a pattern out of that. A, B, C. Well, that would be too small. That would be too small for a PRZ. Damn, that would be a huge freaking pattern though. Good golly. That would be huge. Man, that would be huge. Damn, that would be huge. Extremely bullish, you know, looking for a PRZ that's somewhere over here. But I'm not going to jump ahead there. I want to try to see what I can fit in here. I'm just checking on some things. Yeah, that kind of works. Either way, I'm going to get to this line. If I stretch you over, I get a little bit more out of you. And get a shark pattern out of that. Because what does that look like if I go higher? I mean, it's not a no. It's not a hard no. I think that makes a little bit more sense for us down the road. You know, obviously this is why we were saying TBD. Like, let's figure this part out. Because if this thing, let's say we come here and we don't even come to like a 0.382 or even a 0.5, we go to like a 0.236. You might want to constitute that as a 4 and then you get a 5. But then if you keep impulsing, because this is so large, chances are this 3 just wasn't done. It took a small break and then your 3 ends here. Then you're going to come back down. Yeah, we'll work with that for now. I took the setup off. I just left the zones on. I'll leave the C on for us, so we know what we're looking at here. Excuse me. All right, so Q's got to give me an A here somewhere. I don't know where that A is going to be. But wherever that A ends, I'm not going to long it. I'm probably just going to strip profits and then I'm going to add back on the B. Because obviously you can see there's a gap here. Close on a struggle bus here, moving sideways, which is a clue for me that this was a wave that's completing. Because once we get this sideways movement, that's typically what follows after you get strong zigzags. Right, this is a strong zigzag here. So once we get moves like this, we start moving sideways. That's letting me know that either impulse is brewing, and I don't feel like it's distribution. It's more of accumulation here in this area. And then we're going to get an impulse. I would love to see the impulse come here. That would be ideal. Something very similar to Beat. You know, Beat has this little tiny move up like this, but I think it's going to move sideways for a little bit. So that's why I'm just taking a little bit of profits off of it here and there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a little bit off of it right now. I'm going to take 14% off of that. All right. Up on the challenge, we're at 42 right now on the challenge. This is an FYI if anybody's curious or anybody wondering. All right. Questions? Confusion? Anything, guys? Soul? I closed Soul, bro. I closed Soul yesterday. I had an opportunity to get back into it today, and I just didn't. But if you have Soul, or if you took the Soul move from yesterday, like you're good. You're Gucci. You got a lower high, and then you're targeting 68 and even possibly lower. Almost the exact same setup as ETH, right? Treating all of this like a wave one. You could literally do copy paste. What we just did for ETH, you could do the exact same thing for Sol. BTC was the only one that I was like, nah, I don't know. Because BTC had a little bit more room to go inside of that channel, but it didn't. Here, I'll show you. Right, it had more room to go inside here. And we didn't get that. And it could surprise us. It could turn around and say, yeah. Where are the numbers on? There's one. And there's two. Shave bottom right here. What is this? 17219. 17210. So there's a little bit of liquidity there. Damn. Oh. I'm sitting here thinking there's a massive amount of data. $303 low. You got nothing on that, bro. There's a Wild Wild West type of structure. I mean, at best you maybe get a channel. Or more of a descending triangle. Long score 83, and that was at 97 earlier, and now it's 83. Yeah. I'm gonna do the opposite of what you're saying, buddy. Right, mind you, the logic just reads where the market's at. Like you gotta input your own analysis behind it. You know, a hammer's for nails. It's you know, it's not meant to hit people in the head, right? But nevertheless, it's still a tool that could be used in the wrong way or the right way. You got to make your assessment on how to use a tool the right way. I know that's a pretty dark analogy, but you get the point. ARM, is that the one of the A+ setups that I posted in there? I asked somebody to look at it for me. We'll go look at it now. Is that the one? Yeah, it's ARM. Okay. Let's open up another chart. Okay, well, that's not going to work. Damn, did this coin just come out? Damn, my heat map doesn't even like it. It's all right. Well, I'll use it for now. Let's go 55. Jeez. All right, well, let's go backwards. Let's do that again. Let's take this heat map off real quick. And you're not wrong. I don't even know what to think of it either. Let's. Oh, that was a massive delay. Okay, that's fine. What is it? What was it calling for? In TP 465? 488. Okay, well, let's just wait. Yeah, let's just wait. Yeah, I don't even like that either. That's just looking to punish people. I don't even like that either. Let's look at it on a 4-hour. Yeah. So I'm gonna set an alert for, what did it call for? 465 and 488. I'm not open to longing it. I'm just gonna be open to shorting it. Projects like these, 487, same difference. It's fine. All right, so we got 2 alerts that are ready to go on that. We'll come back to ARM when it's ready. Close was the one I wanted to check on. Okay, close still moving sideways, so not much going on. View, that's daily. Let's go back to 1 hour. And I need my tool back on, please. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. Actually, I really don't need you on. Hold on, bro. Where's that red? Were you on 55? Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. I knew I saw it earlier. I was like, where did it go? Okay, so it's on 55. Still gonna leave the heat on there. Still gonna leave the heat on there. All right, cool. What's up, Max? What's going on, brother? Right now, we're just babysitting, guys. Just babysitting. Some of you guys might be asking, like, yo, how do I get into a position now? My best response to that is join the VIP section. You'll get all the pre-calls in advance. So a lot of these positions were executed before market even opened. So it behooves you, and it's free. Can't be free. Yep. I'm gonna take a little bit more off of beat. And that's all I'm doing is just stripping it every now and then. I think beat did a little bit over 7 so far. Well, you know what? I think I might do this. Maybe let's do this. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see if we can put this on there. need to duplicate this tab. How do I do? There it is. Make sure that. That didn't work. That didn't work. Oh, because I need to be on that tab. There we go. I need to be on that tab. There we go. So I'll be able to share that with you guys. So if you guys are ever curious as to where port's at, things like that, you'll know. Excuse me. Is the just quick stream feedback check? Is the music fine? Is it not too loud? Is it at a good octave where it's not drowning out what I'm saying? Been trying to adjust that to the right level. It's perfect? Okay, good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I noticed on some of the playbacks, the music was just a little bit too loud. I mean, I know I could be heard, but someone that's just opening it up and hears like loud music, like, yo. So, made some adjustments to that. Damn, I'm already hungry. All right, give me a sec. I'm gonna go grab a quick bite to eat. I'm sure Scissors is not here, but when he watches the playback, he'll know what I'm talking about. So there's an energy drink called Ghost. I like Ghost. I know he likes Ghost. Ghost also makes a cereal, protein cereal. And I guess they did a collab with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know, I'm in the grocery store. I'm like, yo, I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And it's got protein? Yeah, I bet. I'll get 2 of those boxes. Let me just save you in advance. It is by far probably one of the worst cereals you could ever eat. So why are you eating it, Saint? Because I'm from a generation where we just don't waste food. It's reluctantly eating it. Don't get it. Looking at some liquidations right now. I mean, there's quite a few to the downside there. Yeah. 61 mil. It's not that much. 103. How much to the upside? There's 110, 18, 16. More to the upside. 238 there. 175. Let's look at those 15 areas that we were talking about. Yeah, like 1608. Because I logged that. Damn, not that much. Only 263. There's way more liquidity to the upside. Okay. Let's go to a 7-day real quick. You know, we start getting in the billies when we're in like the 1580. So yeah, that 1555 that we were talking about earlier for ETH, I think it was somewhere right over here. That's wave 2. Stretch that over. Yeah, 1545. Because at 1584 there's 1.4. So just take all this. What's to the upside? Yeah, when you look at it from a weekly perspective, there's way more to the downside. I take that with a grain of salt because I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I was looking at the liquidity to the downside. And I was just like, bro, where are they going? Where are they collecting all this? And we had to go. I was looking at 1 day and 7 day, but we actually had to go like 90 days out. You know, you look at it from a yearly perspective. 4 billion that sit here. It's going to be so juicy when we get there. So juicy when we get there. Yeah, food should never be wasted. There's a constant discussion in my home. Yeah, the entries are difficult if you didn't catch them pre-market. Tau? Yeah, let's take a look at it. I thought I put it on here. Maybe I didn't. Damn, Tau's got data. Oh yeah, you got a good amount of it. Yeah, I can work with that. Boy, oh boy, I don't know about that. You look like you got a wave 2 that developed right there. But there's very thin liquidity right here. Let's see if I can find a shaved bottom on that. No, there's no shave bottom there. Okay. I don't know about that one. 1, then 2. A, B, C. Yeah, I might have just missed that one because I don't feel like entering on along on that, but let's see how far it's retraced so far. Yeah, dude, it did like 80%. The only question would be is like if that wave just wasn't done, if wave 2 just wasn't done, which I would definitely long that. How's that not a shaved bottom, bro? Oh, there's liquidity there. Okay. And what is 3 gonna look like? 3 will probably be super impulsive, so I'll actually go 2.618 on that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. If I don't get it, I don't get it. But if I get it, I'm gonna take it. I'll post this in the VIP for you guys. I'll highlight these so that it's a little bit easier to read. All right, it's in the corner. It's in the corner. In VIP corner, sorry. You know, one thing I like about Beat or even like Clo or even Q is like their values are so small, like you can get small little moves and make good bank on them. My spot bags that were underwater, those got closed by the way. And I'm gonna reload on the spot when we get to those 15 levels that I was mentioning. Good boy, Q. Yeah, Wild I think is Scissors baby. He's been trading that one a lot. He's been making good coin on that. I'm at my capacity though, in the sense of how many trades I have open and what I can manage from my own perspective. I have 4 open. Yeah, it might be a boring day, guys. If we don't start seeing like good movement like in the next hour or so. Excuse me. If we don't start seeing good movement like in the next hour or so, I'll just call it and then we'll resume again tomorrow. If we're gonna go off of the fib zones, we're inside like this compressed area. Like 1 and 2 are both compression, and then it really starts opening up. You can see here in 3, and then you get gargantuan moves when we get to 5 and 8. But in the very beginning, like see if I kind of compress this and scale it down, you can see how small these are. This is kind of where we're at. So it's a lot of chop, a lot of range. In this here, it opens up a little bit more, but really you're getting the same behavior. And then in here, this is when you start seeing the bigger moves. So possibly like a slow bleed, a very slow bleed is what we would see. There's no point in streaming 4 hours of a slow bleed. This is kind of a good example here on beat, right? Compress and then pushed into this. Real compressed, real tight on that drop. Then expand it. Then you can see how as price action is growing to the downside, the fib zones are getting larger. So that's why you're seeing bigger moves, because you're inside of those zones. So just utilizing that as an example when you're comparing it to ETH or anything else, that's how you use fib zones. Actually, I believe on my channel, there's a video in there for fib zones. So if you're curious as to how to use fib zones, there's some content in there for you guys. Mm. Mm. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, these are those boring parts of it. Yeah, smashing the like button is very, very, very appreciated. Appreciate that, boy. Thank you. In the whale alert section, you can see all the large orders that came in. You actually see them on our side too. It'll start triggering here in a little bit. Once that triggers, we'll start seeing all those alerts. Bring a hammer. Bring the hammer. Ay, ay, ay. The boring days. The boring part of the days. You gonna shave head? Yeah, you gotta shave head. You're coming back here. Okay. Beat is the one that... Let me see what's going on with you. I think you said on a 4-hour there's a shaved bottom. Oh, that shaved bottom. That's why you're aiming for 2. I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you. I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no. I see what you're looking at. All right. As a matter of fact, let's just do this. Let's just go ahead and set a bar there with a reminder. Oh, figure out how to spell there, saying. Why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? Come on down, beat. The water's nice and cool right down here. I mean, a 2 can be a 618 as well. And it still falls under sharp. You got a lot of buy orders. They're kicking in on ETH. That's what I was waiting for to trigger. These a bunch of buy orders. I mean, I'm not buying it in that area. I'm just pointing out that's what we were waiting for to appear. It's whipsawing too on ETH on a 4 hour. That's a whipsaw. Oh, dude, you're a huge diving board. I just caught that. Interesting. Mine's just a 55-minute. Oh boy, oh boy. Huh. Look at that. What a coinky dinky. There you go, beat. That's what we're looking for. You're coming. Man, wants to hold that 618. I mean, 618 is a strong fib, don't get me wrong. I'm just not adding to that. Hey, buddy, do I remember Ayers? Remember me, Ayers? I probably have to see a profile picture, man, to be honest with you. Apologies if I don't remember you. Okay, so ETH gave a whips haul like candle. All those late longs. I'm hoping those late longs act as a point of liquidity for it. Chloe, you're still moving sideways. Oh, just waiting for you. No, we don't need that. Let's check on USDT real quick. What's USDT doing? Yeah, probably flat day. Probably by tomorrow, USDT will get a little push. Somewhere here or here, but let's just play devil's advocate and say here. That'll take a couple days to develop, but grand scheme of things, looking for that move up, then come right back down. That's crazy. It's holding at 2.7. What do you have here at 2.7? Oh, you just started a new 4 hour. Oh, you're 9 minutes in. Okay. Whole lot of nothing. Okay. And that was a retest of that. Okay. Can you come and collect 3.9? Six. That would be so sweet if it did that. Hmm. Just that boring part of the day, guys. That's all it is. Not much you can do about that. Just wait, take profits, come back fresh again. Hmm. Everything is like stagnant. Everything's stagnant. I don't know if this is A. If A is done here. Close dropping some. Okay. Oh, Clo. I have a feeling Clo's gonna try to target this. That's just a deeper wave too. I don't even think I measured that correctly, or at least I haven't taken the time to measure that. Okay, so we should get bigger swings here for beat. I really want to see that 2.5 hold. That's the ideal target. Hmm. We back. Yeah, it's just boring though. That's all. All across the market, it's just boring. Can't entertain you guys. See if anything came up on the scanner. USDT? US came up on here. Oh man, that's not going to be easy finding. What's the price on that? So I have an idea. 11,939. Okay, this is it. That's another diving board too. Jeez. Watch that become liquidity. Yep, take that. So if I want to short this, I might be late on that. I don't even know if I can catch that. I'm gonna set an alarm for right over here. See if anything comes up on that. See if I can find something on that a little bit later. Oh, come on, man. You didn't want to come back down? Would you get scared? Come on. Oh, dusk. What is dusk doing? Oh, I need to add this to the list. So it's just easier for me to find when I'm ready to find it. Now I can go to dusk. Dusk. I need to look at grass too. Dang it, man. You know, I was short on that bad boy and I let it go. I grew impatient with it. That's my fault. That's my fault. I grew impatient. I grew impatient. Bro, was this yesterday? I don't know what we were looking at yesterday. Alright, I don't need that anymore. A little bit higher. I know I have an alarm set for this. Yeah, somewhere on here. I'm gonna set another one right here. Yeah, inside this area, right here. So I think the shorts are going to come from. I thought I had a channel set up on. Oh, I can't see it. That's why. Derp derp. Oh, you snapped that channel to a bazillion pieces. Geez, where were we before? We're at 50, and then the top of that was there, and you went all-time high. Where are you now? Well, if I can get inside this box, let's see if I can get in that box. I'll probably short that. Damn, I think I should start building on that now, actually. Something that's a little bit more high performing. I feel like I'm catching the bottom of that though. Get the bottom of this right here. Yeah, I'm gonna short hype when the alarms go off and price looks good. I'm gonna short it. Obliterated this channel. Retested it. People tried to long it. Took them out. Got to the midpoint of that channel. People tried to short it. Obliterated them. Yeah, I'll post some of these setups inside of the channel for us. Bring the 1 minute candle. Yeah. Oh. Overall short stream for us today, guys. I mean, I apologize. I can't do anything about the market, but you know, market's kind of like meh. We don't know if we're gonna do that. Market doesn't know if it wants to give us what we're looking for. So we'll resume tomorrow. We'll pick up, you know, where we left off. You know, obviously hunting for positions. Some of these coins that I just mentioned late here in the stream, like Hype, US was another one, Tau was another one. I set some alarms for those, so once those alarms start going off, I'll hop into the server and start sharing some of the setups that I have for that. But I mean, if you guys run into any snags, any questions, coins that you're looking at or things that you're picking up on the scanner, reach out to me, you know, in VIP or the market roll room, wherever you feel most comfortable, and then we'll pick it up from there. I enjoy you guys spending this short time with me. Like I said before, apologize, the market's just slow. You know, not much you can do about that except for just be patient, wait for the setups, and then go from there. We did take some TPs earlier today, so relatively profitable stream. Not as it was yesterday, but I'll continue the challenge offline, and then I'll be sharing with you guys when I fully close out everything, so you guys can be on the same page with me when we start the challenge again tomorrow for day 3. Outside of that, continue to be safe, be profitable, and no one's told you today. Jesus loves you. I love you. And thank you again so much for being here. I'll catch you guys soon.